Okay, your piece A for page 2 is going to be 10 by 6 5/8. Your B is very close to that. It is 10 by 6 3/8 of an inch. Your two C pieces, 6 3/8 by 11. You need two of those. Your D piece is 5 inches by 7.5. Your E is 6 7/8 by 9 1/4. F is 6 7/8 by 10. And your little G piece is 4 1/8 by 3 1/4. So those are the pieces that you will need to cut. So cut those out if you haven't already, and then grab your scoreboard. We are going to score piece A at half. We're going to put it in on the 6 5/8 inch side. Just notice though that it's not quite, I'm going to trim this a little because it's not quite perfectly straight. There we go. That's better. Okay, so put it on the 6 5/8 inch side. We are going to score at half, 5/8, and 3/4. Okay, so 3 score lines all right beside each other. That is A. Piece B. Going to score B at half on the 6 3/8 inch side. Your C pieces, we're going to score them each at half and 5/8. Oops, that's not quite straight. Half and 5/8 on the 6 3/8 inch side. And then we're going to rotate the piece a quarter turn. Make sure those first score lines are at the top of the piece. And we're going to score again at 2 1/8 and 6 1/2 on the 11 inch side. Okay, so we're going to do that a second time for the other piece C. So half and 5/8. Rotate a quarter turn so those 1/2 inch score lines are at the top part of your scoreboard, and score again at 2 1/8 and 6 1/2. Okay, those are your C's. Your D piece will be scored at half on the 7 1/2 inch side. That's it for that one. Piece E will be scored at 4 3/8 on the 9 1/4 inch side. So 4 3/8. Okay. F piece will be scored at 5/8, 5, and 5 5/8. Okay, all on the 10 inch side. So that's 3 score lines, 5/8, 5 inches, 5 5/8. Okay, that's your F piece. And lastly, the G piece, we're going to score it at half and 5/8 on the 4 1/8 inch side. Okay, so that is all the scoring we're going to do. Cut your scoreboard away. Alright, now we're going to add score tape, so I'm going to flip these back around so we're starting at the beginning again. Okay, so A, nothing special on A, we're just going to put it on the 1/2 inch area. We're going to miter the corners. We're not cutting into the triple score line, so the mitering is starting at the farthest, the 1/2 inch score line, the farthest one. Okay, B again is also just simple, just score tape on the valley side of the score line, and then we're going to miter the corners. Easy peasy. That's B. The C pieces, we're going to cut a little bit out of the C pieces. So I'd like you to put them so that the score lines are like that. So here's the score, the double score line here, double score line here. And we are just going to put score tape on the top. It'll be the farthest right section. On the bottom piece, it will be the farthest left section. And then we are going to cut out the rest of it. So this whole area is going to be cut out, and this whole area is going to be cut out. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I'll show you right now. Okay, so I'm cutting in at an angle to where the score lines intersect, and then I'm cutting out this whole section. And now the section includes, I meant to include that, the right to the double score line. So this is what you should have. Okay, so we're cutting out this whole section. So past the little part and the middle, all the way to this section. So we're going right, like right past both the score lines, and then mitering on the other corner is just the way we normally do it from the top score line out. So we're going to do the same thing to the other C piece. So cutting, starting right here, the bottom score line, cutting all the way in until those score lines meet, and then cutting at an angle. And then on the other side, I'm mitering it, but just from the top score line. Okay, so those are the two C's. The D, nothing special about it. Just, well, I'm sure there's something special about it, but it's not doing anything funky. It's just going to be simple mitering the corners. And E doesn't have any small score lines, so it doesn't need any score tape. The F piece, we're going to put score tape on just this 5/8 inch section. We're going to leave the one in the middle alone. So we're going to miter these corners. And now we want to cut out a frame out of this half. So the half right next to where we've just put the score tape. So you can choose to, you can mark it out. So we're going to go an inch in from the top and the bottom, an inch in from this score line, and an inch in from this score line. Okay, so I'm just going to do it on my my cutter, but it's totally up to you. However you want to do it, you can just use a craft knife, you can use scissors, you can do whatever it is you want to do. But I find it easiest on this way. You just line up the edge with the inch. And in this case, you would line up the score line with the inch. Okay, so I'm just gonna use my scissors to get those last little tiny bits here. Okay, so you've got a frame that looks like that. All right. Now you can, if you desire, but you don't have to, put acetate. So I've got some pieces of acetate here. I am going to do that, but it's totally a personal choice. So you'd want a piece of acetate that is about 4 by like 6 1/4, 6 1/2. Because it just needs to cover the hole. So I'm going to cut that. Okay, and then I'm going to, because we went on the back side, so I'm going to flip this over, and I'm just going to put some score tape around the edge of the frame here. Okay, and then put that down. Awesome. All right, so there is your F piece. Awesome. And the last piece, the G, same thing, just regular mitering on the valley side. Okay. All right, so that is all the cutting we need to do. Now we're going to fold and crease on every one of these score lines, and then after we've done that, we can start to put it together. I'm going to let you do this on your own because you've got this. You know what you're doing with the folding now. So just fold and crease everything, and then we'll come right back and we will start to put everything together. So once you have folded and creased all of your pieces, grab your first base page, flip it over so that the 3/4 inch sections are on the right hand side now. And we are going to begin putting it all together. So the A piece is going to be adhered to the left side of the base page. Okay, so right on the side here. Okay, and then close up A, and piece B is going to adhere to the right side of A. Okay, so right on the very edge of A. Okay, now make sure that B is closed, and we're going to adhere the C pieces onto B. So 1 is going to adhere to the top left edge of B. Okay, so top left edge of the B piece. So it will open to the left and then down and down. The other C piece is going to adhere to the bottom right of the B piece. Okay, so the bottom, close that one back up, bottom right of the B. So it will open to the right and up. So they just go opposite like that. So when you close these back up, there is going to be a space in the center. Okay? And open all of that up. So you've got the blank base page there. Your piece D is going to adhere to the right edge of the base page, smack dab in the middle. So you might want to give it a measure just so you know that you are getting it right in the center there. I usually eyeball it, but I feel like maybe I should try to do it exactly center. So mark the center of where your base page is, mark the center of your D piece, and then you can kind of line those up. Okay, so there is your D. All right, now set this aside for just a moment, and we're going to work with the E and the F piece for a sec. So open up. You'll notice that your E piece has a smaller side and a larger side. We are going to take that 5/8 of an inch section on F, and we are going to adhere it onto E right in the crease, and the actual adhesive is going to go onto the larger half of E. Okay, so this is the shorter half, or smaller, larger. This is the 5/8 inch section here. It's going to go right in the crease, but on the larger half. Okay. All right. Make sure it's in the crease, but make sure that this can still fold. You don't want to put it over top of the crease. Okay? So just like that, and now we're going to put some, I've already started, put some score tape on the back side of the F piece. I'm just going to put one more piece here. Okay, so get some score tape on the back side of the F. So I think in the photos I have it this way, so I'll do it this way just so it's easier for you to understand. Or which way do I have it in the photos? I think I have it this way, yeah. So we've got your frame, got some score tape on the back side of the F, and now we're just going to take this, make sure there's no score tape on the 5/8 inch section. Okay, that needs to remain clear. So now we're going to remove that, and then we are going to close E over it. Okay, so this is the larger half of E. We're going to close it like this and adhere the back of F to it so that it creates a shadow box like that. Okay, so I'm going to remove the score tape backing. All right, and now we will close this up. Oh, I've got a little bit of adhesive too close. There we go. Okay. And then recrease the, it's always good to recrease the lines once you've attached something together like that. All right, so now when you open it up, it becomes this little shadow box. Like that. All right, so now this is going to go onto the front of D. So we're going to flip the whole thing over, put adhesive on this area, but not that 3/4 inch section, okay? And then we can put it onto the D piece. So we're putting this onto the back, onto the closed area. Okay, now bring this back in, open these up, here is your D, and now we are going to remove all this backing. And adhere this to D. Now make sure that you adhere it so that it opens up. Okay? So, and you want to adhere it to the very top of D, because when you open it, there is a little bit of space. So like put it at the top of D. Sorry, my head might get in the way for just a second. Okay, so see when you open it up, there's like this 1/2 inch section down here still on D, and that is where we are going to adhere the G piece. Okay, so the G piece is going to act as a closure for this. So we are going to adhere it to that 1/2 inch section of the E piece, and I'm going to try and center it as best we can. I might just eyeball this one, I think. Okay, that looks pretty good. And there is your closure. So there's your G. So now everything is together. We just need to add some magnets. Okay, so the first one is going to go from the back of G to the front of E. And again, I've probably said this a few times already, but you can use whatever closures you like. If you want everything to be a ribbon closure, you go for it. If you want, I don't know, those like, what do you call them, the envelope closures that do that, go for it. I just really like my magnets, so I use them a lot, but you can, this is your project. You do whatever you desire. Jeepers, there we go. Okay, so there's the first one. We also want 2 on the back of A, going to the base page, 2 sets. So 1 down here somewhere. 1 here somewhere. And that can close up like that. The back of D to the base page. Okay, there's that. And now I can close these up, and then we need some on the C's. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to do from the small flaps of C to themselves. Okay, so there's one. And the other one. And now I'm also going to put them from like these parts of the C's to the B. I mean, you can also do, I mean, you could do a swing tab here and here, I guess. But I like my magnets. I might still do swing tabs at somewhere, just because I like them as well. But and if I do swing tabs, I almost always magnetize them. Okay, almost done with this page. Okay, so get the score tape. I'm really struggling with the backing today. Okay, so here is, oh, goodness. There's the first one. And the other one. And then our last bit of magnets, I'm also going to put them going from the B to the A. Alright, so this is the last bit of creative stuff for page 2. And now we can start decorating. So I'm going to put a few pieces on, and then I will come back and do the rest with you. Okay, so far on the bottom C, got part of the signature paper there. Open it up. That plain blue there. And then just some white for the ivory for journaling. And then I left these blank. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing to the top C. So the signature paper on the front. And then open it up. And what do I have here? Blue. Okay, and then no, I'm just putting as much as I need to cover up the magnets. You can put pattern paper everywhere, but like I said, I try to leave some spaces free. And then the blue here. Awesome. All right, there's the C's. And then I just did some paper piecing just so in the center when it's closed you can just see the yellow. When you open it up this way, I just left it really simple just for some horizontal photos. And then when you open it this way, I did a little bit of, I used that embossing folder. So I'm just going to put some embossing down here and here, and then this one in the center. They're sideways moon and stars. I mean, in Dreamland, things can go sideways. Things are often sideways in Dreamland. Okay, put the top one on, and then I'll know how much space I need in between the two of them. Okay, so over here I've got the little signature part and some blue here. I've got some blue here on the inside. I cut the frame part out of blue, and this is going to go on the back part of it. Getting a little crazy with my glue gun here. Okay, so this is going to go on the top part. And this is going to go on the frame itself. Ooh, be careful I don't rip my frame. Okay, so the frame goes on. And that looks about good. So to cut the frame, I just cut a piece of cardstock that was a little bit smaller than the piece itself, and then cut in, instead of cutting in an inch, I cut in 3/4 of an inch. And I'm gonna put this on the inside. I'm gonna just put a tiny bit of adhesive on the back, because I don't want it to really stay there, because that's where your photo would go. So this is kind of just a placeholder. So I'm just going to kind of put it in there and tack it down, but just as a temporary situation. And then I just realized I put a little piece down here, but I forgot to get a little piece of the Starry Night paper for here. So I'm going to try and quickly find some. Okay, well, I'm gonna find that later. And then on the back side of D, I've got some more of the signature paper, and then we'll put yellow, or not, yeah, yellow on the main base page. So this can go here. All right, and there is your page 2. Hooray!